Ready? I'm sure at some point in your lives you've had to tighten a bolt, nut, or screw, and when you tighten it, you probably tighten it until it's snug. Well, that can be a problem because your snug can be different than my snug, and if you don't tighten it enough, your bolt or nut can come apart, or if you tighten it too much, you can strip the threads or break the bolt. And that can be a problem if you're working with an assembly like this where things need to be tight and together. Well, to combat this, there's a tool called the torque wrench. And what the torque wrench allows you to do is to consistently tighten bolts to specifications provided by the manufacturer. In this case, it would be like John Deere. Now, torque is measured in foot-pounds, which means force applied at a distance. And torque values usually range from 20 to sometimes into the 100 foot-pounds. So for this, there are different sizes of torque wrenches. Here is a medium-sized torque wrench. This is a smaller torque wrench. It's for smaller bolts that have values up to about 50 foot-pounds. And then if you're dealing with things like a tire on a tractor, say, you'd use this monster here, which can go up to 700 foot-pounds of torque. I'm going to demonstrate on how to properly use a torque wrench in tightening things. So let's say I want to tighten down the weights on the front of this tractor. It's very important to have this bolt, which connects all these weights together, properly tightened, otherwise your weights are going to slide off and fall. So let's say the manufacturer has set the torque value for this at 60 foot-pounds. So to set your torque wrench on this one, it's an audible indicating torque wrench, which means that it clicks when you get to your set value. So to set the value, I'll turn this handle until I get to the number I need, which is 60 foot-pounds. I'm going to lock it into place, and I'm going to set the socket on the head of the nut. And as I tighten it, there'll be a click when I get to the right number. You guys hear that? That means that I've reached my 60 foot-pound torque setting. There's also another style of torque wrench here. This one has more of a visual indicator on it. It's a gauge, and as you tighten it, it will increase until you get to the number you want, and then you can stop. This is a little harder to use because you have to keep your eye on it as you're tightening, and it's kind of inconvenient. You have to keep your eye on it. So that's why most people like to use these clicking ones. They're kind of expensive, but they're a must-have if you're a mechanic. And you need to keep them calibrated, otherwise you can tighten things to the incorrect value. But if you make sure that you set them to 0 when you're done using them so you don't stretch out the springs inside, then you should be okay. So just remember that when you go to tighten down bolts or nuts, maybe look in the manual to see if there's a value you need to tighten it to, because it can make a big difference on if it's actually snug or not.